This video is so ridiculous, and Matt Walsh, he stood his ground. He made these Dems look like clowns out of the questions that they were asking him. Check out what happened.
Can you give us a summary of your educational background or your healthcare education experience?
Mr. Walsh, you're recognized.
My experience in healthcare?
Your educational background. I'm just curious. You've testified as to a lot of your own research. So I'm curious for what purpose you do that and what background you have to qualifies you to speak to that.
Well, my background that qualifies me to speak to this is that I'm a human being with a brain and common sense, and I have a soul. And so, therefore, I think it's a really bad idea to chemically castrate children. That is my experience. Also, I did, now it's true, I didn't go to college, but I did go to school long enough to learn how to read, so I can read the data for myself, and that's exactly what I've done.
Representative Clemens, you're recognized.
And for what purpose do you conduct your research and use this brain of yours?
Mr. Walsh, you're recognized.
I use it for the purpose of trying to protect children from being castrated and mutilated. That's one of the things I try to do.
You don't use it
Clemens.
to, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You don't use it to get clicks on your
Let's state
publication?
Well, are you using it right now to try to get clicks with this interaction? No, I really like the
Mr.
idea
Walsh.
of getting of drawing attention to the fact that this is happening to children. I know you seem to find it very amusing. I don't.
Representative Clemens.
Well, you made a lot of misrepresentations and characterizations in your comments, so I think it's fair for me to question your background.
What did I mischaracterize?
Let me finish, please.
You're recognized, Representative Clemens.
You know, if you're going to come before a committee and make mischaracterizations and misrepresentations, it's fair game for us to ask you your educational background and your foundational knowledge for making such characterizations. That's my point. So I'm curious about you speaking to the development of the human brain by the age of 25. I seem to recall you advocating on behalf of firearm possession at the age of 18. Do you think that's appropriate?
Let's stay on the bill, please.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah, well, can I respond to that?
Representative Mitchell, you're recognized.
I can't respond to what...
Representative Mitchell is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, you know, I think your original article, blog post, or tweet, or whatever, kind of started this firestorm. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, where we need to look for these surgeries, because I'm still trying to find, you know, the surgeries, because, you know, the sponsor of the bill last week, I kind of agreed with him. I said we need to split this bill into two parts. You know, I may agree with him on the surgery part, because I don't think it's happening. So, you know, you seem to have started this, so I need your evidence of where these surgeries are occurring in Tennessee. Could you give me, you know, places, times, maybe some names, or something that, you know, you know of?
Mr. Walsh, you're recognized.
My evidence is the healthcare provider's own words. You know, I outlined Vanderbilt Health and their transgender care program, and the people that work for that program, their own words, talking about what they do, and talking about, for example, providing the chemical castration drugs to adolescent children. As far as surgeries, you know, double mastectomies do happen, and the way that I know that they happen is that after I called attention to this program at Vanderbilt, they said that they were going to stop performing, they were going to put a pause on the program that performs these surgeries on minors. And so if you're pausing the program that performs surgeries on minors, then I'm going to assume that the program existed. Otherwise, you couldn't have paused it. So
You can tell as Matt Walsh is just sitting there listening to the questions that he's being asked. He's thinking to himself, because you could see it on his face, like, are these guys for real? I mean, they're obviously not taking his report that he wrote, his claims that he's making, seriously. And for anyone to kind of go to this hearing, supposedly supposed to ask questions of the witness, and they say that they've never heard of these surgeries being done, I would think that you would do a little bit of your own research to see if the person who's, you know, going to be asked questions about the report he wrote, to see if any of his stuff is factual, if any of his stuff is true. And this guy is the second guy who asked questions. He's like, I never heard of it. But that's also when they start making fun of his brain, using his brain. I mean, Matt Walsh is spot on. In this day and time, it does not matter what university, what college education you have. If you know how to read and if you know how to Google and do research on social media, and if you take the time as a reporter to actually, after your findings, go to these hospitals and talk to these people face to face, which he obviously said he did, and these people admitted they were going to stop these surgeries, then you don't need a college degree to be able to make a report to bring Americans aware of what is happening to our children. I mean, if anything, these Dems look ridiculous. And as far as the guy saying, "Are you just doing this for your likes?" I loved Matt Walsh's response when he said, "Are you?" Because he looked like a clown. Seriously, those guys look like a clown asking Matt questions on a very important topic.